story recapped here. Today I'm gonna explain a comedy and horror film called Zomblogalypse. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Vlogger Captain Disillusion talks about the recent zombie outbreak happening, showing clips from various people that showcase evidence of the apocalypse. Although Captain Disillusion thinks it's high-end VFX realism, he can't find any evidence of fakery. Then, zombies storm his set, ripping him apart as he recites his video outro. 10 years later, in England, Hannah, a book vlogger, warns her viewers that it's finally the end. She thanks her viewers for sticking with her till the end of her graphic novel week, saying she'll return to reading regular books next week. Hannah then shows her current living setup in the library. Her friend Miles enters, complaining that their other friend, Tony, might have clogged the toilet. When she tells him to get off the shot, Miles mocks Hannah's lack of viewership. Hannah argues that she has 4 subscribers, although Miles says it's all just Tony. They then search the library for Tony. Soon, as Hannah is recording, she warns Miles that there's a zombie behind him, but he doesn't get the message. Fortunately, Tony appears and bonks the zombie's head with a dodgeball, laughing because the zombie couldn't dodge. The three complain about their boring life, so Tony recommends doing something fun. Thus, they venture outside with weapons to go shopping. Without anything in mind, Hannah gives them a shopping list that says everything, which Miles throws away. To check if their route is safe, Tony sends a drone to scope their path. With the coast clear, Hannah gives them a rundown of their plan. When she mentions grabbing all the canned food they can get, Tony stops Hannah, saying they're going to a garden center since they've ransacked everything else. The drone catches sight of a zombie, so Tony moves in to deal with it. In true Metal Gear Solid style, Tony hides under a box to sneak around. Meanwhile, Hannah and Miles follow while watching Tony through the drone. After taking care of the zombie, he comes across a group of zombies with a zombie kid. Not wanting to shoot an undead child, Tony takes a leftover limb and baits the zombies with it instead. The other two come across a zombie postman and focus on it, not knowing that there's another one coming up from behind. Fortunately, Tony rushes to them and shoots it. When Tony sees the zombie, he takes out his book of zombies since postman zombies are rare. He takes a Polaroid photo of it, but Miles says it's been a waste of time. Later, they chill at a faux beachside until zombies arrive. To escape, Tony attempts to break into a car by slamming against it, but this knocks him down. Miles then just opens the unlocked driver's seat. Although zombies are approaching, Miles teases his friends by pretending not to know how to unlock the door. Soon, they all get in but are unable to drive away, so they just spend the night inside while zombies surround the vehicle. Tony continues to work on his book, and Miles points out the section about running zombies, saying they're not real, but Tony's convinced otherwise. Beside Miles' window, they notice a zombie with his wiener cut off, so Tony takes a picture of it. Suddenly, Tony notices Alan, a zombie whose hand he taped a grenade into for the lulz. Seeing that it might blow them up, Miles suggests escaping. Struck with a genius idea, Tony straps raw chicken on his drone to lure the zombies away. Miles honks the horn as a distraction while Hannah climbs out the back to release the drone. Surprisingly, the plan works. The next day, the three head back to the library. Realizing that they don't have a good legacy left if they die, Hannah says that since they used to be film students, they should make a film that tributes their 10 years of survival. Miles suggests the title as Zomblogalypse. When Tony flies his drone back to them, Miles realizes that the zombies are following it, so they run back to safety. At the library, Tony holds down the door from the zombies but realizes they're just the crew they need. To make their movie, the trio uses zombies as the camera crew by strapping the equipment onto them, though they struggle to keep them positioned. Seeing that they all have bad shots of them firing guns in random directions and arguing over their lines, the group realizes that they need actual people, so they think about starting a Kick Go Go campaign. Although they don't have anything to offer to their future sponsors, they make the perks video anyway. In their video, they offer various perks like a tank, oranges, a combine harvester, a lifetime supply of Wagyu beef, and a traffic cone with a nuclear bunker. Hannah thinks they're overselling it, but Miles insists on launching the campaign and worrying about it later. To their surprise, many recruits join in as soon as they post a campaign online. During the first production meeting, the three introduce themselves to the new crew. Right away, Aaron asks for the stake and nuclear bunker. However, Miles claims that all the perks will be given after the film's completion. Tony adds that they have a film crew documenting their behind the scenes for the DVD version. Dom and Joe announce that they opted for the platinum package, so they're expecting some entertainment. Afterward, Jennifer asks if the on-set catering will have vegan options, so Miles says there are cans of number-ready spaghettis, which Lindsay points out are actually vegan. Then, Tony gives everyone a copy of a script for a table read. When Lucy asks if they're going to shoot shoot in an outdoor set, Miles says they don't want the crew inside their home, so it'll be a set. Since she asks who'll build the set, Lucy gets suddenly appointed as a set builder. Gemma then asks if they're wearing their own clothes for the movie, so Hannah puts her in charge of costumes. Continuing with the script, the three look for someone to play a character named Adam, one of their friends who passed away. Phil, who has minimal acting experience, volunteers for it. Hearing that Adam is scripted to be killed by zombies, Peter asks how they're doing the zombies, so Tony insists that they're using actual zombies. Peter points out that zombies are dangerous, but Tony says that's the exciting part. Because Peter mentions that nobody would want to die for their film, Tony relents to using someone to play a zombie instead, then appoints Peter to oversee the health and safety. When Sanguine inquires about the film's ending, the trio explains that the documentary will stop abruptly because they still live in the apocalypse. Hannah insists on making the film artistic, so she asks for a cinematographer and Victoria volunteers. Before the meeting ends, Paul notes that they haven't completely assembled a proper crew, so Miles just assigns people to random departments. On the first day of pre-production, the cast goes over lines, though their acting is terrible with monotony and mispronunciation. Sanguine confronts Hannah about the script sounding unnatural, but Miles tells her that they were there when it happened. When Sanguine asks for more realism, Tony just laughs, telling her that their film is escapism, and if she wants the real thing, she could just look outside. Next, Hannah runs lines with Phil, who does vocal exercises before dramatizing his lines. During the behind-the-scenes interview, Dom and Joe say they joined because of their love of film. Meanwhile, the other crew members don't have many positive things to say about it, mentioning that the production seems careless. However, the trio thinks it's going well. While on a break, Lindsay gives them biscuits and confesses that she's a huge fan of Hannah's vlogs, which got her through dark days. When they ask about Lindsay's role, she says she's in the zombie control department. In her interview, Lindsay hopes that the trio will like her as much as she likes them. On the following day of practice, Hannah tells Miles that she's giving the Adam role to Lindsay and renaming the character as Madam. The news makes Phil cry. Hannah defends that they need a good female dynamic in the movie, but Miles gets angry about the change, so he calls his PA, telling her that Hannah can only talk to Miles through the assistant. Meanwhile, Gemma states that she has no idea what she's doing, but sometimes colors look good together. On the other hand, Sanguine hopes that the film will have a magnificent, bloody, and catastrophic ending. During safety and health training, Tony leads the group with light stretches before letting zombies inside the room, telling them to just see what happens. Although the rest immediately escape, Phil stays in place to get into the role but gets eaten instead. On day 1 of filming, everyone waits for the trio outside the building. However, the three didn't read their call sheet and head straight to the location instead, alongside Lindsay. When the crew finally arrives at the location, they immediately berate the trio as they had to go through a bloodbath to get there. Aaron angrily reminds them about their call sheet, though the three have no idea what it is. Hearing this, Aaron grabs Tony, blaming their irresponsibility for getting 3 crew members killed on the way there. However, Tony just laughs at Aaron for being intense. Still, the show must go on. When Dom asks what they're gonna do, Hannah calls him unprofessional but asks Miles what they're doing. They decide to start with Madam's death scene, but Tony suggests doing it in order, like in real life. This sparks arguments in the crew on how impossible it is to film scenes in order. Before the filming starts, Victoria asks for a shot list, which, again, Hannah and her friends aren't familiar with. Instead, Hannah explains that when the apocalypse starts, they'll run home and Madam will get attacked, forcing them to leave her. As Hannah talks to Lindsay about the scene, Lindsay shares sympathy for them having to leave Adam in real life, which Hannah momentarily forgets about then shrugs off. Hannah then tells Miles that it's a bad idea to shoot the first day by killing off a female character. In the end, Hannah decides not to kill off Lindsay's character yet. Hannah then orders the filming to start, but the crew isn't ready yet, so they scramble into position. Their acting is still horrible during the filming, and Lindsay keeps forgetting her lines. In the action scene, Tony directs their stuntman, Tom, to mingle with zombies and then jump out so they can pretend to kill him. However, Tom is reluctant since Tony doesn't want to rehearse and doesn't have any safe weapons. Laughing it off, Tony just tells everyone to start. During the kill scene, Tony throws the axe and kills another crew member instead. After Hannah says that's good enough, everyone states that they should do more takes, but Hannah just calls it a day already. The rest are simply horrified at how the friends don't mind the deaths in their crew. On the 12th day, after 37 scenes and 4 casualties, the crew films a musical sequence before getting ambushed by zombies, making them run away. Then, Jennifer complains about the messy production, saying there's only one take for each and that there are a lot of continuity errors. On day 17, now with 7 casualties, Tony straps raw chicken on his legs then runs through the woods while getting chased by the undead. Once the zombies arrive at their spot, the trio kills them. Lindsay arrives after the fight, but a zombie ends up biting her on the ankle. After saving her, Tony suggests chopping off her leg, but Lindsay insists that she'll brave through the rest of the shoot. Hannah compliments her, but Lindsay already starts puking blood. On day 41, Miles stops the filming to critique Tony's pronunciations. Later, Hannah tries to comfort Lindsay, who's turning into a zombie, but immediately runs away when she pukes. Peter checks up on her but ends up getting bit instead. On day 66, they plan to shoot the outbreak sequence, but Dom and Joe confront them for the bad job that they're doing. The couple demands a larger role in production because they paid for it. However, Hannah assures them that everything is going according to plan, minus a few deaths. Miles adds that the film looks great, so Joe asks to see the footage. Hannah says they'll see it at the premiere, but they disagree because they invested 2.5 tons of toilet roll with gold leaves and aloe vera. Finally, Dom and Joe tell them to just get through the day with a usable scene without killing anyone. Although being assured not to worry, Joe doesn't fully trust them, so Dom says he has a plan. Outside, Miles sees the cardboard minister set by Lucy and berates her for doing a bad job. Meanwhile, Lindsay is already undead, so Tony suggests using CGI on her face. Starting the scene, they still act horribly, much to the crew's exasperation. When Tom comes in for the zombie shot, Miles actually knocks him out with a bat. Needing Lindsay on the scene, Paul puts a mic on her, but Lindsay bites him. Right after, a zombie grabs Lucy from behind, and when John tries to help her, he just pulls off her arms. He screams in despair, but more zombies arrive, so he uses the arms for defense but still ends up being eaten. More zombies appear, making the crew panic as some get eaten while others run away. Meanwhile, Tom wakes up then continues to play dead to avoid the zombies, and Jennifer pulls Gemma to safety. On the other hand, Aaron saves his own life by pushing Sanguine into the zombies. Miles tries to save the camera but gets pinned down by a zombie, so Tony shoots it. As they continue to fight the zombies, they spot a zombified Victoria leaving with the film, so Miles runs to save it while Hannah looks for transportation. Left alone, Tony goes against the new horde of running zombies that arrives. Despite only having an axe and a pistol, Tony does well and escapes by using a smokescreen. Finally finding a vehicle, Hannah just chills inside the van. Tony gets chased by the zombies and eventually gets pinned by a clown zombie. He asks for help from the documentary guy filming him but is only handed an umbrella, which Tony uses to pierce through the zombie's mouth. When they try to leave, however, a horde of zombies emerges and kills the documentary guy. Miles finally finds the zombified Victoria and shoots her to retrieve the footage. Preoccupied with eating candy, Hannah doesn't notice a zombie coming from behind. The candy ends up being disgusting, so she spits it out and throws it right into the zombie's mouth, choking it. Miles finally meets Hannah by the van, and Tony runs away from a horde. Noticing the zombie with a grenade hand, Hannah shoots it to blow up the rest of the zombies. While reviewing their footage, the remaining crew seizes the trio's rights to the film when they see that it's horrible. The trio argues that they can't do that, but it was in the fine print so the supposed executive producers can take charge. Dom and Joe add that they'll credit the trio if they feel generous. Eventually, the three are depressed about their lack of purpose because they lost the film. As they walk around, they see the poster for the premiere of Zomblogalypse, seeing that the credit goes to Dom and Joe entirely. Pissed at not being credited, Tom suggests switching the film so they can show their work. To do so, they must film an entire movie in a day with just the three of them. Determined to have their legacy, the friends work on the production pieces using cardboard before recording footage. During the premiere day, they sneak inside the cinema, plotting that Tony and Hannah will swap the footage while Miles distracts the crew. When Dom and Joe start their speech, Miles disrupts them with a slow clap, saying they forgot to credit the trio. Finding it suspicious that Miles keeps glancing at the projection booth, Joe tells Dom to check upstairs. With Dom leaving the other mic, Miles grabs it as Joe suggests a pre-show Q&A, but both keep fighting for the spotlight. At the booth, Dom catches Tony and Hannah trying to swap the footage. Meanwhile, the undead Lindsay goes inside the cinema. Though holding each other at gunpoint, Tony hesitates to shoot because Dom isn't a zombie. After distracting him, Hannah grabs Dom's hand to aim the gun away and tells Tony to shoot, but Dom knees him in the groin. Still struggling against Dom, Tony grabs his ankle while the undead Lindsay arrives. She grabs him by the other leg and pulls him apart, spurting Dom's guts onto Tony and making Hannah sick. Meanwhile, a zombie horde bursts into the cinema. With zombies attacking, one guy gives up and welcomes death, while Tom pretends to be a zombie to escape. Gemma and Jennifer just run out the back, followed by Miles, while Joe is pulled into the horde. When the three reconvene at the projection booth, they notice that the zombies are watching their film since Zombie Lindsay swapped the footage. The four of them sit at the front of the cinema, joining the zombies in watching their masterpiece.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.